Children, in this video we will learn about the physical features of the Himalayan mountain in detail. Okay, earlier video we had learned about the formation of the Himalayan mountain, how the Himalayan mountain was formed. So children, just recap how the Himalayan mountains were formed. As I told you, when the Indian plate broke away from the Gondwana land and started drifting towards the Eurasian plate. Yes. So as it moved on and started drifting towards the Eurasian plate, and in between which sea we had, okay, in between there was the Tethys Sea, okay, from where there were sediments in the Tethys Sea, which when this Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate, all the sediments in the Tethys Sea were pushed up to form fold mountains, which became our Himalayas. Okay, so this is how our Himalayas were formed. Now we look into in detail about the Himalayas. Now the first thing about the Himalayas that we must, when you talk about the Himalayas, we must mention that it is young and structurally fold mountains. Why is it called young? Because comparatively, when the Indian plate broke away from the Gondwana land, this was the oldest landmass. The Deccan Plateau or the Peninsula Plateau was the first to be formed. Okay, and comparatively, this is younger. Yes, it is recently formed, although it's million of years, but compared to the Peninsula Plateau, this is recently been formed. Okay, and why is it called fold mountains? Because the sediments that were there in the Tethys Sea got folded. That is why it is called as young and structurally folded. So this is the fold mountains. All the sediments got folded like this, and that is why the Himalayas are called as young and structurally fold mountains. This is a very important sentence that you must mention when you're writing about the Himalayas. Okay. Now, where are the Himalayas? The Himalayas are in the northern borders of our country and is one of the loftiest, the highest and rugged mountains of the world. What is the meaning of rugged? It's broken, rough, uneven. Okay, because there's less vegetation on the top and mostly covered with snow most of the time. Okay, so these are our Himalayas, and the direction is right from west. They run from west towards the east. Okay. Okay, in the west they lie in between the Indus River to the east, between the Brahmaputra River. So the Himalayan mountain lies between the Indus River in the west and Brahmaputra River in the east. So this is the entire range of Himalayas. Now Himalayas are a range, okay? It's a continuous range of mountains. They're not one hill, it's a continuous range, one mountain, then another. Continuous ranges has been formed because of the collision of the Indian plate with the Eurasian plate, and in between, what was the sea in his name? Tethys Sea, and all the sediments in the Tethys Sea were pushed up to form these fold mountains, which are comparatively very young to the formation that was there in the Peninsula Plateau. When the Indian plate broke away from the Gondwana land, this plateau was already formed. So this is the old landmass, and this is comparatively a younger formation. Okay. So children, the Himalayas are the highest peak in the world and are snow-capped mountains. The peaks are covered with snow throughout the years, where we have our glaciers. Okay. So now you can see the width I told you varies from 150 to 400, and the altitude, the height of these mountains is average is 6,000 meters above the sea level. It's very high. Okay, and the highest peak is around 8,000 meters. Children, now the height of the eastern side of the Himalayas, the height of the mountains, is more than the height in the western side. Okay, so height or the peak's height is more on the eastern side rather than on the western side. Now let me tell you, do you know the reason why? Okay, let me explain to you why the height is more in the east than in the west. Now remember I told you when the Indian plate broke away from the Gondwana land, these were the two arms. This was the Aravalli Hills and this was the Assam Himalayas. Now when this is just drifting up to collide with the Indo-Eurasian plate or Asian plate we can call it. Now what happens? Just look at this. First what collides? The eastern, that is the Assam Himalayas collide first. So when they collide, they get raised peaks, and then you can see this width is still there, and then finally this width is coming closer and then joins. So that is why you see here the width is 400, here it is only 150, and this is the reason why, because this collided first, it has more higher peaks than in the western side. Have you understood this? So we can say the height is more on the eastern side of the Himalayas than on the western side. So altitudinal height is more. Okay. So children, just let us recap whatever we have learned about the Himalayas so far. Yes, geologically young, comparatively it is a young formation, and structurally folded. It is folded because of the sediments that were lying under the Tether Sea. Sediments got folded. So it's a young and structurally folded mountains. It is located in the northern borders of our country, and it runs between Indus and Brahmaputra. So it runs from west to east, from between Indus to Brahmaputra rivers. And it is the loftiest and the rugged mountain barriers of the world. Rugged means uneven, broken, rough, all this. And it covers a distance right from Indus to Brahmaputra, covers a distance of 2,400 kilometers. And in Kashmir, the width is more. I told you the reason why it is more, 400 kilometers. And in Arunachal Pradesh, the width is 150 kilometers. And I told you altitudinal variations are greater in the eastern half than in the western half. The height of the mountains is more in the eastern part of the Himalayas than in the western part. This also I have explained in the video. So now this is a brief sketch of the Himalayas. Now we'll look into in detail about the Himalayas. Children, the Himalayas consist of 3 parallel ranges. Now what is the meaning of parallel? Yeah, you can see these lines. This is parallel range, like the lines of the railway track. You can see they never meet. Okay, 2 lines, they never meet. These are called as parallel ranges. Now in its longitudinal extent, what are the 3 parallel ranges? We'll be able to see Himadri, then Himachal and Shivalik. Now what is the meaning of longitudinal extent? Now you will ask me, children, so, teacher, we have learned latitudinal is this and this is longitudinal, but here let us first look into this. This range is this is the Greater Himalayas or Inner Himalayas. It is also called as Himadri. Then the next range is, after this is the Himachal or Lesser Himalayas, and then we have the third range, which is the Shivalik range. So we learn about these 3 ranges in great detail. Now we are talking about longitudinal extent, but you will say, ma'am, this is all in the latitudinal extent. This is the way we are seeing. No, we don't have to look at it like that. We must see it from top. Okay, when you look at the top, then we see this as a longitudinal extension. So we don't look at it as the way we see it. We're looking from top. If you're looking from China, this is going to be a longitudinal extent of the Himalayas. So which are the 3 parallel ranges in this longitudinal extent? It is Himadri, then Himachal and Shivalik. The other names for Himadri are Greater or Inner Himalayas. For Himachal, it is Lesser or Middle Himalayas, and Shivalik is the Outer Himalayas. Let's look at it again. This is the Greater Himalayas. Okay, then the next line is the Himachal, and the third line is the Shivalik. Now we learn about all these 3 in great detail in our next video.